You demand a lot from the world, but little from yourself. You want respect, you want victory, you want peace, but you haven't yet become your best self. This sentence isn't just a provocation, it's a mirror held up to you, and it might be uncomfortable to see the reflection. But that's exactly where transformation begins, because the truth is, most people spend their entire lives asking for results, complaining about a lack of recognition, waiting for happiness to fall from the sky, but they don't have the courage to take responsibility for becoming what they want to attract. And that's where I want to hold you now for a few minutes. We're not talking about just any video. We're talking about a direct confrontation between you and yourself, a space where every word will be an invitation to look within, reflect, and act. So tell me, are you ready for this reality check? Comment below. Version, because that's what we're going to strive for together. The best version of yourself. It's not about pretty phrases, it's about action. It's about breaking the chains you've built around your weak habits, your lax discipline, and your complacent mindset. Openings like these aren't just about getting attention, they're about awakening. You need to be provoked, you need to be nudged, because movement is born from discomfort. And if you're still here, it's because part of you has already understood that you can't keep hiding behind excuses or outsourcing your responsibility. Take a deep breath, because from now on, every second of this video will be like a magnifying glass on your life. I won't give you easy answers, but I will give you what you need. Clarity, direction, and a dose of truth that may hurt now, but will free you later. Because when you demand more of yourself than of the world, when you start disciplining yourself, strengthening yourself, rebuilding yourself from the inside out, everything changes. But for that to happen, you first need to admit, I want to be the best version of myself. So write in the comments, version. This is your initial commitment, the first step on this path. It doesn't matter if you're tired, if you've tried before and failed, or if you think it's too late. It's not. The right time is now, and the choice is literally in your hands. Staying until the end of this video is the first proof that you're willing to face this process. And I promise you, every minute will be a mirror that will reveal truths you may have been avoiding for years. This is the icebreaker, the gateway, the spark that will ignite the flame of transformation. If you've made it this far, you've already realized that I'm not going to pat you on the back. My goal is to be direct, provocative, but also inspiring, because only then will you leave this video different than when you entered. So hold on tight, because we're going to walk this powerful reflection together. Are you ready? Then comment version and shows that you are not just another spectator, but someone willing to act, to look in the mirror without fear, and to start demanding more from yourself than from the world. The comfort zone is the greatest self-deception of modern life. It seems cozy, it seems safe, but in reality, it's a gilded prison that prevents us from growing. It's as if you're sitting in a comfortable room, unaware that the doors are locked from the inside. Most people live in this invisible space, believing that one day, by chance, things will get better, that a miraculous opportunity will appear, that the world will align to deliver success, respect, and peace. But let me tell you a truth that may be hard to hear. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better when you get better. This phrase should be tattooed on your mind because it reveals the essence of personal development and stoicism. Nothing external can change if you don't first change internally. The world won't bend to your desires as long as you continue repeating the same habits, avoiding the same responsibilities, and hiding behind the same excuses. The comfort zone is a sweet poison, and the longer you drink it, the weaker you become, the further away you become from the life you say you want to live. If you've ever felt this, if you've ever realized that it was you who held yourself back there, comment on the word now, comfort, because that is the first step. Recognizing that you were not trapped by the world, but by the invisible chains of your own mind. When you remain in your comfort zone, you create an illusion of stability, But deep down, what you really experience is stagnation. Your mind begins to accustom itself to small pleasures, to the false security of a predictable routine, and you begin to confuse the absence of pain with happiness. But happiness isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of purpose. What you need to understand is that as long as you wait for external circumstances to change, nothing will happen. The Stoic doesn't ask the universe to be generous. He or she prepares to be worthy of what they seek. The man or woman who wants respect must first respect themselves. Those who desire victory must first overcome their own weaknesses. Those who desire peace must first master their internal conflicts. Life is a reflection of what you build within yourself, and the comfort zone is precisely the negation of this process because it keeps you in a state of passivity. It's as if you were in a comfortable chair in a drifting boat, complaining about the wind while refusing to hold the oars. And here's the provocation I want to make clear to you. Until you get out of that chair, until you grab the oars and row toward the life you want, you'll continue to be a passenger of chance. So if you've realized that this comfort zone self-deception has cost you time, energy, and opportunities, comment on the word comfort, because this is your public declaration that you will no longer accept being a victim of yourself. Now, you might be wondering, but how do we get out of this comfort zone if everything in it seems so difficult to abandon? And the answer, as simple as it may seem, is always the same. You need to change internally first. You need to embrace the discipline you previously avoided. You need to trade immediate pleasure for the construction of a greater purpose. You need to embrace discomfort as the true path to freedom. This doesn't mean becoming insensitive or living a life of suffering, but it does mean accepting that growth comes from overcoming, not from stagnation. The Stoics taught that we don't control the winds, but we do control the sails. We don't control what life brings, but we do control how we prepare for it. And that's exactly what I want to offer you in this video. No more illusions, but tools of clarity, strength, and direction. Because in the end, you either grow or stay the same, and staying the same is choosing mediocrity. Life won't wait for you. Time won't stop until you feel ready, and the years you waste in your comfort zone won't come back. So, if this truth has already touched you, if it has already hit your heart hard, leave your word in the comments. Comfort, because only those who recognize where they are trapped can finally free themselves. This is your calling, this is your time, and there is no excuse to continue living a life less than you are capable of living. A true Stoic doesn't waste their life waiting for circumstances to change, because they understand that this is a mental trap. Most people live as if the world should adapt to their desires. They wait for the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the ideal moment to start. But Stoic philosophy reminds us that all of this is an illusion. You don't control circumstances, but you do control yourself. And it is precisely in this difference that the power of a strong, balanced, and free life lies. How many times have you postponed a dream because you told yourself it wasn't the time yet? How many times have you blamed external factors, the crisis, people, fate, to justify your lack of action? The Stoic doesn't dismiss responsibility. They understand that life doesn't ask permission to happen, but they always have the freedom to choose their response. You don't choose what happens, but you choose how you act in the face of what happens. That's when your best self is born. This phrase is a powerful reminder that true control lies not in the world, but in you. If you already understand this difference, comment on the word control, because only those who see this can, in fact, become the protagonist of their own story. Realize that when you transfer your happiness externally, you become a hostage. If it's sunny, you smile. If it rains, you complain. If someone praises you, you feel great. If someone criticizes you, you feel small. This is the life of most people, an emotional roller coaster controlled by everything but themselves. The Stoic chooses a Different path. They are not indifferent to the world, but they don't let it dominate them. They know that criticism, difficulties, and losses are part of existence, but they choose to transform each of them into character training, an opportunity for growth. There is no greater victory than becoming unshakable in the face of chaos. Imagine the power of living knowing that no one can take away your peace, because your peace doesn't depend on circumstances, but on choices. This is the freedom that Stoic philosophy offers. This is the key that unlocks the door to a life where you not only survive events, but grow with them. So, if it's ever crossed your mind that it's time to stop being tossed from side to side by the waves of life, comment, control. Because this is the commitment that separates those who complain about the world from those who truly master themselves. Now reflect. How many times have you wasted energy on things beyond your control? Complaining about traffic, people, the government, the past. All of this drains you, but doesn't strengthen you. The Stoic, on the contrary, directs his energy toward what can change, his thoughts, his actions, his daily attitudes. He understands that life is too short to be wasted on what can't be touched. And perhaps that's precisely where you're failing, spending more time on pointless arguments than on building the person you want to be. Greatness is born when you learn to close your eyes to what doesn't depend on you and open your eyes to what is completely within your control. Discipline, courage, resilience, self-control. These are the weapons of the true Stoic, because no matter what the world throws at you, there will always be a choice. Act virtuously or surrender to chaos. And each time you choose the path of virtue, you move closer to your best self. So, if this truth has resonated deeply within you, comment, control, and shows that you are no longer a hostage to circumstances, but someone ready to take charge of your own life. Silent discipline is one of the greatest virtues a Stoic can cultivate, because it doesn't depend on an audience. It doesn't need applause or immediate recognition. The modern world sells the idea that transformation happens in grand gestures, in great moments of inspiration. But the truth is different. Your life is built on the small choices you repeat every day. It's waking up on time, even when no one is looking. It's staying focused when it would be easier to get distracted. It's choosing the path of effort instead of the shortcut that only seems faster. Your best self is born not of intentions, but of repeated discipline. This phrase carries the essence of Stoic philosophy, because intention without action is just empty wishful thinking, while discipline is the bridge that transforms desire into reality. What moves you forward is not fleeting motivation that flickers and flickers like a match, but silent, firm, almost invisible discipline that builds unshakable foundations. If you've realized that discipline is worth more than any momentary inspiration, comment below, discipline, because that is the true fuel of your evolution. Think about it. How many people have you seen start projects enthusiastically, only to give up halfway through? How many friends have said they were going to change their lives, to exercise every day, read more, save money, but quickly gave up when the excitement wore off? This happens because motivation is fragile, but discipline is unbreakable. Stoicism doesn't depend on the mood of the day, nor the emotion of the moment. It depends on your inner resolve to be constant. It's this silent discipline, repeated day after day, that shapes character, strengthens the mind, and transforms anyone into someone capable of facing life head-on. The world doesn't see your small victories, but they're where your strength lies. Reading a page, training even when you don't feel like it, speaking calmly when anger wanted, to speak louder. This is discipline. And make no mistake, it's not grand gestures that change your story, but the sum of these small acts, repeated until they become part of who you are. So, if you know this is the key, comment, discipline, because it is this word that separates those who dream from those who make it happen. Silent discipline isn't easy, and that's precisely why it's so valuable. It requires patience, embracing discomfort, foregoing immediate rewards in exchange for something greater down the road. But it's in this process that you build your freedom, because when you master yourself, no external circumstance can bring you down. The Stoic understands that true power lies in self-control, consistency, and choosing to act virtuously even when no one is watching. Discipline is doing the right thing, not because someone will congratulate you, but because you know it's the path that leads to your best self. There is no lasting victory without discipline. There is no inner peace without discipline. There is no legacy without discipline. And that's why it's superior to any fleeting motivation. Motivation is like the wind. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the roots of a tree, invisible, silent, but firm enough to sustain your entire life. So, if this message has already resonated with you, prove your commitment and comment now. Discipline. This is the sign that you are not here just to hear pretty words, but to experience something that truly transforms. Suffering is the true test of character, and there is no way to grow without going through it. Life doesn't strengthen us with comfort, but with endurance. It's when you face difficulty, loss, disappointment, or failure that your essence is revealed. Many believe that happiness lies in avoiding pain, but this is the greatest illusion there is. Every time you run away from pain, you run away from your evolution. The body only grows when it's put under stress, and the mind is no different. It only matures when it must endure pressure, fear, and adversity. The Stoic understands that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. It teaches you more about yourself than any easy victory. Running away from pain is choosing to remain weak, vulnerable, dependent on a world that will never be perfect. Accepting pain as part of the path is accepting that life shouldn't be easy, but that you must be strong. If you've already decided to transform pain into growth, comment on the word. Now, strength, because this is the commitment of those who no longer run away from their own destiny, but face it head on. How many times have you avoided a challenge for fear of suffering? How many opportunities have you passed up because you didn't want to feel discomfort? This pattern is common, but it's also what traps most people in a mediocre life. Growth requires sacrifice, discipline, and enduring pain that often seems unbearable. But realize, it's not the pain that destroys you, it's your resistance to accepting it. Inevitable suffering becomes heavier when you fight it instead of integrating it into your journey. The Stoic knows there's no point in complaining about life because it will always bring difficulties. What changes is your attitude toward them. You can cry, complain, and give up, or you can view pain as a forge that's honing your best version. It's like fire that shapes iron. Without heat, there's no form. Without pressure, there's no diamond. Without pain, there's no evolution. So think about it. Every challenge you face today is preparation for the life you say you want to live tomorrow. And if it already makes sense to you that pain is a step, not a prison, comment below. Strength, because recognizing this already puts you ahead of the majority. The test of suffering is not optional. It's inevitable. Sooner or later, life will confront you with something you didn't want to face. And at that moment, you'll have only two choices: run or grow. The Stoic's path is clear. He doesn't seek suffering out of vanity, but when it arrives, he doesn't shrink. He doesn't play the victim. He understands that pain is temporary, but learning is eternal. And here's the point you need to engrave within yourself. Life will not spare you. There will be losses, disappointments, betrayals, failures, but each of these experiences carries within it a seed of strength if you know how to cultivate it. The sooner you accept this, the faster you'll free yourself from the illusion that there's growth without sacrifice, because there isn't. Every warrior must go through battles before being called victorious, and every mind must endure crises before achieving wisdom. So I ask you, will you run from pain, or will you transform it into strength? If your answer is the latter, prove it right now by writing strength in the comments, because this is the declaration of someone who no longer fears suffering, but embraces it as an inseparable part of their evolution. True freedom isn't about doing whatever you want, nor about winning the approval of everyone around you. True freedom arises when you strengthen yourself from within, when you build a version of yourself so solid that no outside opinion can bring you down. When you strengthen yourself from within, no one from without can destroy you. This is the essence of Stoicism, not depending on the gaze of others, but on your own conscience and your own virtues. What imprisons people most are not visible chains, but invisible ones. The constant need to please, to prove yourself, to seek validation. Living to meet external expectations is like living in prison. But when you decide to become your best version, not to show off to anyone, but because you know you deserve it from yourself, you free yourself, and this freedom is unbreakable. If you want this emotional independence, comment on the word now, freedom, because this is the initial step for those who no longer accept being held hostage by the opinions of others. Understand how most people are shaken by criticism, judgment, and comparisons. It only takes one unkind word to ruin an entire day, one disapproving look to diminish an entire achievement. It only takes someone not believing in them for them to doubt themselves. This happens because their foundation is fragile, built on the sand of external approval. The Stoic, on the contrary, builds his life on the solid rock of discipline, virtue, and self-control. He knows he doesn't control what others think, but he does completely control who he chooses to be. This awareness is liberating. You don't need to be a slave to applause, nor a hostage to criticism. When your best self begins to emerge, you no longer worry about being seen, but about being true. It's at this point that the gaze of others stops guiding you, because the compass is within you. And believe me, there is no greater power than this. If you understand that this is the key to stopping living for the world, comment below, freedom, because declaring this is the first step to living as the master of your own mind. The freedom to be your best self doesn't mean isolation. It means independence. You'll still interact with people. You'll still hear criticism. You'll still be tested by life. But none of that will be able to paralyze you, because you no longer measure your worth by the noise from outside, but by the peace you've built within. And that's the greatest form of strength a human being can achieve. When you understand that you don't need to prove anything to anyone, that your life doesn't need to fit anyone's expectations, you finally become free to live according to your principles, your values, and your truth. This is the victory that no amount of money can buy, because it's a victory over yourself. And ultimately, that's what the Stoics always taught. The man who masters himself is more powerful than the one who rules an empire. So tell me, will you continue living as a hostage to what people think of you, or will you build a version of yourself so strong that nothing from the outside can bring you down? If your answer is the second, comment now. Freedom, and shows that you are committed to achieving the emotional independence that only those who seek their best version can achieve. The Stoic doesn't dream of being someone else. They don't waste energy trying to compare themselves, compete, or seek external validation. The Stoic understands that the greatest battle is not against the world, but against their own internal limitations. The Stoic doesn't dream of being someone else. He seeks to be the best version of himself, because in the end, beating others is irrelevant. What matters is beating yourself. This is the victory that no applause can give and no criticism can take away. True triumph is looking back and realizing that you are stronger, more aware and freer than you were yesterday. It's accepting that the path isn't about perfection, but about daily evolution. And this evolution only happens when you firmly decide to no longer deceive yourself, no longer procrastinate, and no longer blame circumstances. The power is within you. And if this message resonated with you, if it awakened you, and if you're truly committed to living this journey of self-mastery and transformation, then I want you to take action now. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth, and write the words in the comments. Best version. This isn't just a gesture of engagement, it's a public declaration of commitment. It's you telling yourself and everyone that you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, face discipline, embrace pain, and achieve inner freedom. This is the movement that separates those who merely consume content from those who apply it in their own lives. So show that you're in the latter group. Comment best version. Strengthen this video with your like, and together we will continue spreading this message of strength, clarity, and transformation.